Okay, guys, hello. I'm Liam, and I think this is going to be called Minder. I'm not totally sure. Probably. It's the only real idea I've got so far. And I won't lie, I've been thinking about how to make the first video for ages. I wrote scripts, I tried all sorts of things, but I think the only way it's going to work is just stream of consciousness. It seems to be when I get into a flow. Well, yeah, I get into the stream and I get ideas and it just feels a lot more natural. So first off, I want to give a pointer of what this channel is going to be like. So effectively, what I want to explore is, it feels like everyone's talking about what the elites are doing, what's wrong in the world, basically looking at all the symptoms. But I think how I want to approach it is more looking at the causes. I want to explore what the elites think and why they're doing what they're doing. To me, just saying they care about power and money is reductive and self-explanatory. And more to the point, these people already have infinite power and money. I genuinely believe, through the research I've done, through the experiences I've had, these people are on total other wavelengths to the majority of humanity. They value totally other things. They're interested in totally different things. And yeah, I want to explore those things. I want to explore the ideas of esotericism, mystery schools. And don't get me wrong, a lot of the ideas I'm going to explore have already been explored, but I see my role as kind of synergizing these ideas and making it make sense in a framework that helps you understand why we're here and where we're going. So maybe it's best if I just give a background to who I am, the experiences I've had, and why. Why am I interested in this? Because this is not something that most people want to do. Most people would rather kind of stick their fingers in their ears and just have a nice life. But for me, Joseph Campbell says, follow your bliss. This is the thing that every time I get engrossed in it and I feel compelled to share it, that's when I feel the most alive. I feel like I'm doing something that would be worth dying for, something that is worth my descendants being proud of me for. The way I see the world going, I don't know, we need as many people as we can to start talking about these ideas, to start showing that these ideas are known by the elites. This is how control gets managed. And it's the control of knowledge. It's the control of wisdom. But yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. So, bit of my story. So I'm 26. I don't know, went through I guess if you really pinpointed when this type of analysis started, was when I was about maybe 12, 13. And I can remember we were out at the pub and my uncle told me that some people didn't think 9/11 was real. And I can remember being like, what? What does that mean? 9/11 isn't real. Of course it's real. I've seen it. What does that sentence even mean? And I went home at the age of 12 and ended up finding loose change. And literally around about the same time, maybe literally weeks, months apart, I also watched The Matrix for the first time. And I think this was a powder keg of questioning everything. I went from questioning conspiracies to then literally questioning the whole of reality. And let's just say that lay dormant for a while. I think I just kind of became a critical teenager. And then I went to university at 18 and I was studying sound technology. And in that first year at uni, I ended up, me and three guys who were also on my course, we ended up making an album that ended up getting signed. I signed a 4-album deal with Adele, the Adele's manager. We were the first band that he'd ever signed to his label. Up until that point, he was just a management. He managed all sorts. He also helped start MIA's career. Huge, powerful, I think they'd say mogul. Pretty sound guy. But basically, this kind of, I don't know. The thing that I couldn't get my head around was I'd made this album without ever writing anything down. And it just left me with this conundrum of pondering, where did my songs come from? Where did these ideas come from? And then you can keep going to where the thoughts come from. And these things the questions just get bigger and bigger until you think you're going insane. because I'd done this thing, especially with the pressure of signing this record deal, and these people are now going, right, come on then, make some more tunes. And I'm like, fucking hell, I don't have a clue what I even did. And this kind of, it was really hard. I thought it was going insane, especially that, like, within a week, we made this album. Within a week, we were meeting all the labels down in London, and I was just going insane, man. Like, I thought I was going insane. But it's only subsequently, when you look back, you realise you're going through some kind of awakening. Like, it always feels like that when all your ontologies, all your frameworks of the world get ripped away. Even your idea of yourself gets ripped away. I was really interested in spirituality. I found, in the midst of my depression, I found Osho. And Osho really kind of... I love Osho because he doesn't like hold back. Like, he really says it to you straight, and he wasn't polite with it. And I think at the time when you're in that state and you're feeling sorry for yourself, you need someone to be like that with you. And I think partly what I want to do now is, I know so many people are struggling. Like, I'm not speaking to the people who don't have the ears to listen. Like the Buddha says, you can't force people to awaken. You can't. But the people who are in that bit that I was in, I know how much they're struggling, and I understand not everyone makes it through, especially when you don't have any kind of guide or path or assistance. Back in the day, we would have shamans, we would have mystics that would guide people through this process. But in our society, we act like it doesn't even exist. We act like these people are going insane, and therefore they do end up going insane. So yeah, I know the suffering of it, and I want to just help people make sense and build a framework so you're not just lost at sea, basically. But anyway, back to the story time. This first video I've kind of got to set the scene like this, and then in subsequent videos we're going to go more laser focused into different parts of the framework. Effectively, we're exploring elite ontology, what the elites believe, or what things actually are to them and in general. But no, so then I've had that experience in the band, have true existential going insane, and then COVID hits, and obviously in the state I'm in, by that point, like, I was loving David Icke. I still love David Icke. He's like a big uncle to me. Well, every uncle's big. If you've got an uncle younger than you, something's gone wrong. Oh, is that true? No, you could have an uncle younger than you, but I don't know how common that is. No, I still love him, but I think the problem with David Icke is maybe he's true with everything he's saying, but he can put people off with, I don't know, it's kind of in a similar way to Osho, but Osho's not talking about reptilians, you know what I mean? He's not talking about the fucking moon matrix or Saturn or whatever. However true this shit may be, I'm not necessarily I'm not here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you what their truth is, what they believe is going on, and through that you can make sense of why things are happening, because they do have beliefs, they have ideas that they don't make public knowledge, or if they do, they dress it up in symbolism, or they do it in such a way where you won't realise. Where was I? Yeah, so COVID hits, my band's falling apart because we're all living together. It was hard living with anyone during COVID, especially when you got the pressure of a record label. You're smoking weed all the time, you're not looking after yourself. Yeah, it just wasn't going well. And we had all these ideas of a tour that got completely cancelled. My relationship with my girlfriend started breaking down. Everything basically started breaking down, which I think it's got to happen. If you're going to get to a point where you're truly awakening, that's an inevitability eventually. Like, the people I might reach on this have probably already gone through that, where everything just starts to fall apart. And then it's on you to rebuild yourself and rebuild a life. And then, so I moved back home. I was living in Liverpool. I moved back home, and within about a year, my granddad dies, my nana dies, and my dad dies. And my granddad was kind of the usual kind of grief. Like, he was in a hospice. Yeah, he died. Yeah, there's not that was kind of just normal. Well, as normal as grief can be. But this now gets me to the weirdest point of my life. So I've been exploring these ideas and I've been reading spiritual stuff, and it can get kind of frustrating when you're reading all this shit and you're like understanding it theoretically, but you're like, but why don't I feel any better? Why do I still feel insane? Like why am I full of anxiety? Why am I stressed and fearful of everything? Like, if I know everything's just unlimited consciousness and all these ideas, like, why am I not putting it into practice? And then one night, basically, there was this page I followed on Instagram, and it was about non-duality. I was interested in non-duality, but again, it was more theoretical than experiential. And this guy's talking about this guy called Nisargadatta Maharaj, and he'd been propping up across like a week, and I'd been going, oh, I don't know this one. Like, I've got my gurus I'm into, but who's this bloke? And basically, if you don't know who he is, he's literally just like a cigarette seller who reached enlightenment, or said he did. Like, many people will say that. Maybe they're just narcissists. I don't know. But that's who he was. He was just nothing special, effectively. Like, I don't know. Osho had his own fucking cult. This guy was just chilling. Like, he was not trying to be anything special. And I'm like, right, you know what then? Let me search this guy up on YouTube. And it came up with a video called Nisargadatta Maharaj Ultimatum Pointers. And I'm like, it's 2 hours long, yeah? And I'm like, all right then, I'm going to roll a zoot and I'll go for a walk. And I don't know, we'll put it on and see what he's all about. And what happened was, so I sit down at this bench. I haven't even started smoking yet, so we can't say, oh, you were on drugs or whatever. But anyone who smoked a zoot knows this is not the usual experience, okay? So I'm sat there, and it's genuinely like, in one moment, he said, be what you were before you were born. And he's saying these ideas like, what's real never dies, what's unreal never lived. And he's saying all this stuff, and like I'm saying, when you're just hearing it as words and ideas, it doesn't mean anything. But I swear on my life, in one moment, it's like I realised that I was nothing. What I assumed was Liam was not even real. Like, I saw the illusory nature of everything. But in that same moment, you realise that nothingness is everything. It's like this. It's a paradox until you realise it's one. It's like, how can something come from nothing? That's what science is trying to answer. They're asking the wrong question. Something is nothing. It's a game. We're going to go into lots of areas, but it's like how in quantum physics or whatever, we understand that what we see as solid table, solid phone is effectively nothingness. So even on a scientific level, this holds up. The best quote is Nisargadatta Maharaj. When I know I am nothing, that is wisdom. And when I know I am everything, that is love. And between these two states, my life flows. And that, I want to get that on my headstone, man. I think that's one of the wisest things I've ever heard. That sums up everything. If that's all you take from this video, trust me, that's all you needed. But here's what got weird. Like, so I have this moment, and I literally messaged my friend saying, guys, I've just had like one of the weirdest experiences of my life. It was like in a flash, and an experience of what before was just an idea. And I knew straight away. I was like, fucking hell, what? Oh my God. Like, it's like you've been seeking for this thing, and then it comes without you even realising, like, I didn't think anything was going to happen. But the weird bit is, so I go home, the next morning, I wake up, I'm just going about my day. My parents aren't in. And then just my stepdad comes home, and he's like, Liam, can you come downstairs? Your nana's died, like, your mum's just found her in bed. Your nana died in her sleep last night. It could have been literally the exact moment I'd had this realisation. But I don't know, like, those two situations mixed together. Because when you're going through grief, you see the unreality of everything. That is part of it. Things don't feel real. It's like, it's so real that you see the illusion. You see that, oh, this is just a dream. Like, that's an experience a lot of people have with grief. So after just having an experience where I'd actually seen that was true, then going into this, that grief was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. Don't get me wrong, like, I cried my eyes out, and it was hard, but so meaningful. It was like when people say, when someone dies and you're like, oh, see them in the flowers. Oh, when a robin comes, my mum always thinks it's my nana. Like, oh yeah, see him in the birds. It's like, to me, I was like, oh no, I've realised what was animating my nana when she was alive is all still here. Like, nothing ever leaves, nothing ever comes. It's all now. That's all there is this moment. And that encompasses everything. So, yeah, that realization, that was genuinely a life-changing moment. And that's still what I hold on to now. I think that is true wisdom. And that's why, I don't know, it's like if Nietzsche recently I've just started trying to understand Nietzsche, but if Nietzsche had had this kind of direct experience, I think he would have had answers to the things he was experiencing. Because it's like, yeah, you're right. All truth is a perspective and is all kind of an illusion. Like, there's no absolute truth. Nothing is the absolute truth. It's like he almost was there. He just kind of missed that he was saying the obvious. So that happened, okay? And then I kind of just am going around the motions, because it's weird when you have an experience like that. It's not like life entirely changes around you. It's just you see it different. Everything about my being just shifted. And I don't know, it's a roller coaster, and it still was quite scary. It was a different kind of fear as it was when I was first going crazy, when we'd made all of our tunes and I didn't know where my thoughts came from, and I was like, fucking hell, has my mind got me, or have I got my mind? What's happening? So then I just kind of working in hospitality for 2 years, and then I decided I want to go back to uni, because I only did 1 year and dropped out to do this record label, or to make more albums that didn't really, well, but he did put 3 albums out, but it was never like that first one. Something changed. Like, I was too scared, and now I'm at peace with that. So now, effectively, what I'm trying to say is I'm now at the University of Bristol, and I'm studying archaeology and anthropology. Effectively, I realised that, okay, I love songwriting, but what I really loved was storytelling and kind of like myths and ideas. Well, ideas, like stories. These things, these symbolic tales that have meaning. Or no meaning, depending on just how you see it. And then I ended up realizing that people were the best stories. Like when I went traveling, and when I sit in a pub, you speak to a stranger, you're like, they tell you more interesting stories than you could make up. You know what I mean? And that really kind of, I realized that. So yeah, I followed it, and now I'm doing anthropology and archaeology. But I think another thing that this recent period has given me is understanding academics' view of it, or view of the world, and how compartmentalized it is, and how scared they are of saying, especially in anthropology, anything universal, ideas about cultural relativism. Like, it's so caught up in politics that they don't even realize, like, and it's really frustrating. And I think this again has been a powder keg recently, where I wasn't at my best period. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going to say to you when I got my realizations around my nana dying that I became fucking Buddha. I still was struggling in my own way. But the good thing is about grace, or insights, or some would say I was just in a manic period, but I've got my own opinions on that we're going to explore in a video. But it came, even though I was sapping my energy, suddenly in the past few weeks, I've had this fount of energy again, like information, insights, revelations coming to me. And this is when I've been re-energized to build this framework, build a way to make sense of things. But yeah, it's definitely been my experience at uni that's helped me see things from a different perspective. It's like I feel like a mole. I'm undercover in university. Like, if I say half the things I think about in essays or in lectures or seminars, people are going to look at me like I'm speaking blasphemy a lot of the time. But again, we're going to explore this. There's so many different angles of why things are happening. And I think the biggest thing that I want you to take, is that all the areas we're going to explore are not isolated. All this is adding up to why the world is the way it is. So yeah, I think you've kind of understood my background. But yeah, this channel is going to be dedicated to exploring why the elites are pushing certain technologies, promoting certain worldviews, particularly materialism. I'm really going to deep dive into that, because I think that's central to everything. I don't think the world can be going this direction if that wasn't the case. And why that became so popular. Why are they suppressing certain knowledge that's known by esoteric groups, known by mystery schools, known by the elites? But if a normal person says these ideas, we pathologize and medicate them, unless they're strong enough to be resilient towards it? And why do they operate through specific symbols and rituals? My point is, things like greed and control, they don't explain all these. The elites would love for you to think that's all they care about. And a key word we're going to be going into is ontology, because the elites care about having the truth of ontologies, I guess their ontology of the world, and effectively the way the world actually operates is that consciousness is primary. It exists in everything. It's all there is. All of matter is in consciousness. And consciousness is in awareness. Reality is participatory. Reality quite literally is what you make of it. We're going to explore these, okay? Like, take them with a pinch of salt right now. And by the way, in all videos, I'm not saying, I know the truth, listen to me. I want you to look inward. And that's not some wishy-washy woo-woo shite. Genuinely, all you need is within you. Don't take anyone's word for anything. Even doubt yourself. I only got these answers by doubting everything until I couldn't find anything left to doubt. Belief shapes outcomes. That's effectively reality being participatory. And that symbols have power. Symbolism, rituals, these have enormous power. I'm going to explore why they do. And they keep this knowledge asymmetric. They use it for themselves whilst keeping everyone in materialist realism. And that's the game. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It sends some people mad, but I'm here to try and make sure any of you people struggling to try and make sense of this world has a path or a way of making sense. So yeah, I think that's a good place to rest and come back next video. It's going to be a mix of what they believe and understanding what is happening. Because even that, like, even looking at the symptoms, when I hear people talk about it, I'm like, there's other angles we can view this as. We're going to discuss how we can re-enchant the world, how we can bring magic back, mythology, meaning, without lying to ourselves and falling into dogma. I'm basically just here for the people who sense that something's off, but maybe haven't done the work or the research to convey it as I'm trying to do. It kind of feels like I've pissed my time up the wall by focusing on this shit, but it's not a waste of time if I convey information. This isn't going to be just casual content. I want to speak in a way where I convey it the best I can, but I'm building towards something. Slowly but surely, with every video, we're going to be building a framework that connects everything: consciousness, power structures, mythology, technology, spirituality, memes. We're going to go into everything, okay? And some of you may think I'm insane, and that's fine. You're not the people I'm trying to reach. Some of you will recognize straight away what I'm trying to convey, and you're the people that I want to build an audience with. I want to build something bigger than myself. So yeah, I don't know what the next video is going to be. It might be Peter Thiel and the Antichrist. It could be on materialism. I don't know. We're going to pluck into the magic hat and see what comes out, because I've literally got like 50 different videos I could make at this point. I got nothing else to say. I've waffled a lot, but I think this first one needed that because I want you to know that I'm genuine and I'm coming from a place of experience, not just I've heard people say shit and I'm regurgitating it. Partly I am. Like, I definitely have done a lot of research, but the research I've done has been confirmed by my life experiences. And maybe that's confirmation bias. That's for you to decide. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, subscribe. Help me out. This is the first one. Have a good day.